Welcome to Inner Compass. I'm Shirley Hoogstra. We call it the Holy Land because it's extremely important for the followers of several religions. And although they all live there, their relationships are a far cry from holiness. Our guest today has spent his life building bridges between these groups with amazing success. Hear his unique perspective today on Inner Compass.
From the campus of Calvin College, this is Inner Compass, exploring how people use faith and ethics to guide them through critical issues of today.
My guest today is Archbishop Elias Chacour of the Melkite Greek Catholic Church in Galilee. He founded the Mar Elias educational institutions, which are open to Jewish, Christian, Muslim, and Druze children from Israel, from kindergarten to college. And he has received many international peace awards and has written 2 best-selling books about his work there. Welcome, Archbishop Chacour.
Thank you. I'm very pleased to be with you and to address all those who will be watching us.
You are about reconciliation. And you started the reconciliation process with the Christians in your own church. Palm Sunday, some time ago, you saw that even though you were preaching reconciliation, the members were having some conflicts. Tell us the story about how you addressed it.
You know, it's a very old story. You are digging in my early history. Well, I wanted by all means to have some viable relations between the parishioners of this very small, unknown village.
Yes.
I tried everything. It was impossible. The enmity and the animosity was so strong. On Palm Sunday, we usually forget our emotions, bring our children with olive branches to celebrate the entrance of Jesus to Jerusalem. And they all came for the first time in my life. I saw my parish gathered in this small church.
It was full.
It was more than full.
Right.
You know, it was just jam full. So at the end of the celebration of the worship, I decided suddenly to do something shocking. I left the altar, went out to the entrance door, locked the door. The key was as big as that.
Oh.
It's a big thing. Locked the door, took the key, and came back to my place and said to my people, for 6 months I tried to bring you together to reconcile you. It seemed impossible because I proceeded with human powers.
Right.
Now I have someone who is able to transform your hearts. Either you obey to him and he will become your God, I will become your priest, or you still continue rebelling against him, then you can kill each other and I will celebrate your funerals very gladly.
Right.
So I wait for you to say, we want to reconcile with each other. It was extremely tense. I stood there with complete silence for a few minutes. Nobody even was able to breathe. And suddenly a man who was dressed with the police dress to impress his brothers with whom he did not speak for many years, and the rest of the community, he stood up, rose his arm and said, Abuna, it's not normal. I feel God present in this church today. And that's why I want to ask for forgiveness from all the community and from you. And I forgive everybody who tried to hurt me in the past.
And this was a man whose reputation was hard and
Very
mean.
hard, very hard, yes. And then I told them, you come stand here, I greet you. I greet him, hugged him, stood beside me. I said, now you all will come and greet each other, hug each other. And the second ceremony after the worship, the ceremony of hugging was longer than the ceremony of worshiping.
But Archbishop, that kind of risk for love actually marks your ministry, doesn't it?
It is true somehow. I like to make surprises to people.
Yes.
I don't like the monotony of worship. Okay, we go see God have mercy, and go home.
Right.
I want to say, what does it mean for me, God have mercy?
Right.
It means that I have to have mercy first on myself, on my neighbor. If I do that, God will answer positively.
So this risk-taking behavior of your leadership also extended to the priest of the Greek Orthodox Church.
Yes, because He was my colleague in that village. I was completely forgotten there. You know that my bishop sent me to that village for 1 month. I stayed 38 years in that village waiting for the 1 month to finish.
So he had a plan that I get Elias Chacour in a spot, now I'm on to other things, and there he left you. And when you say you were alone, did you not have other priests there?
No, there was the Orthodox priest, the Greek Orthodox priest.
And the enmity was great between the Greek Orthodox Church and
Yes,
your
he
Greek
was
church.
a very old man, 85 years old. I tried to go to his home, to eat with him, to sympathize with him,
Yes.
to express my friendship and my love for him. And I remember on Good Friday when we have a big celebration,
Yes.
for the first time he entered our church. I invited him to speak.
Was this unusual?
Very much unusual. Yeah.
Yeah.
He told me later, I used to consider entering your church as an impurity for me. So he stood there in the worship and said, my dear friends, we young priests, he was 85 years old and I was 25 years old.
Yes.
We young priests, we are not the old one, like the old ones who do not care for the unity of the church. We care, we want the church to be united. And that's why I came today to worship with you.
And that must have been groundbreaking for all the Christians in the village.
For me, that was faith affirming.
Yes.
And very, very strong sign of hope.
But he came because you extended friendship to him.
I think, he came because the Holy Spirit worked on his conscience, that he has the opportunity to show that he is a man of God. Yeah.
Now, your family has been persecuted. They have been driven from Baram, their
Yes.
home city. Yeah. And yet you do not harbor anger towards Jewish individuals.
No, it would be crazy to harbor anger against individuals who normally did not have anything to do with my plight, but who are part of the continuation of this plight now.
Right.
So if I blame them for violence and for corruption, should I adopt the corruption in order to prove that I am right? No.
You have an analogy about someone carrying slop on the top of their head.
Exactly. Well, I tried to explain to my people why I don't hate the Jews, why we who are oppressed by them, to love them even more than the others. We blame them of corruption as if we have a friend who's carrying a bucket of garbage, stinky garbage, on his head, right. And he walks all along with us. We smell the stink of the garbage. So we have to react. Either we act sillily and we go take a bigger bucket of garbage, put it on our head, instead of one we have two. Or we take the pain to take that bucket of garbage from the head of our neighbor, we throw it away, we wash our hands, and we walk side by side, two clean persons.
So you model a different kind of behavior.
Absolutely. That's what Christ has done. Right. He never reacted to evil acts with evil. He always acted genuinely according to his plan of salvation. I have to show people the love of God the Father, no matter what they do. Right. And if they do bad, it's one more reason for me to show them the goodness of the Heavenly Father.
So in your early city in 1948, the Palestinians there offered up their homes and said, come be part of this village.
You see, there is one mistake you made. Sorry to interrupt you.
Tell me.
You can never say that in those times, 48, the Palestinians gave them love and hospitality. Don't generalize. Many Palestinians did.
Yes.
My village did.
Yes.
The village around us did. Not all Palestinians. As well as today, it's a drastic mistake to say all Jews are peace-loving people. It's wrong. We know from our daily life, many Jews do not want peace. They want the land.
Right.
They want the money. They want the power, not peace. So please help us with your people never to generalize about any human group being all good or all bad.
In fact, that's what racism becomes, isn't it? Where you take one characteristic and you apply it to a whole race. And you have argued that they have done this to the Palestinians.
Yeah.
They say you're all terrorists, when that is not an accurate description.
No, terrorists, they did not treat us as terrorists in the beginning.
How did they treat
They
you?
treat us as dirty Arabs, Aravi melukhlaq, dirty Arabs.
Okay.
In fact, they treated us as people who have taken their place because they left Palestine 2,000 years ago, and now they come back. They want to say goodbye. We have been in the country 2,000 years ago.
Right.
We remind them that we were there with them when they were deported by a Roman emperor. And we stayed there, and we welcome them if they come or if they return. We welcome them with us. We cannot welcome them without us.
That's right. Now, sometimes, Archbishop Chacour, you use gentle means to bring your message, and sometimes you use illegal means, such as building without permits.
Well, I don't agree with you that I use illegal means unless the legality is illegal itself.
And it was in this case.
It is absolutely the case when you forbid a human being to build a house.
Right.
So should he accept to live under the tent because you don't want to allow him to build a house?
No, and yet you took great risk because, as you said, the government of Israel has all the power. And so they could have taken your building down.
Yeah.
They stopped sometimes the construction. They could imprison you. In the face of that, you said, no, we are going to educate the children.
Absolutely. They have the might, I agree with you. But they are never almighty.
No.
There is one who is almighty.
There's only one.
Yeah. And if they have the might, the first should be right. And right, they are not. If systematically they forbid us to open a school or to build a home or to build a school, they are radically wrong, because that does not help to bring peace, that does not help to bring togetherness with everybody.
Because you want the children of the Palestinian children, the Muslim children, the Christian children, the Jewish children, to actually have a model of studying together, of learning how to be peacemakers in the future. And that is the purpose of your schools.
I wanted simply children, not Jewish, Muslim, Christian, or Druze. I don't want to label them, because I do believe that no one among the different religions, affiliation, political drafts that are there was born Jew, Muslim, or Christian. I, lucky enough, was not born a Christian. How lucky I am when I discovered that I was born a baby.
Yes.
And only a babe. Right. But with a birth certificate. I was created on the image and with the likeness of God, exactly as every Jew, Muslim, or Druze was created. And if we consider this original identity being the same address for all of us, we would seek to respect it and to develop it, no matter to which affiliation we belong. And then we start creating unity within the diversity. Yeah.
So you are going to give a foundational principle for why you should respect each other.
Exactly.
Now, you talk, though, about a two-state solution to the Israel-Palestinian issues. But what you just said now, is there any possibility of a one-state solution?
I used to speak about two-state solution. For few years, no one heard me speaking or pleading for two-state solutions anymore, because I wonder if that's what the plan should be, where would the second state be?
Right.
When the settlements have taken the best parts of the occupied territories. This strange wall, worse than the wall of China, has confiscated tens of thousands of acres of land from the small part of the occupied territories. Where would that second state be? Unless we say as the settlers. They say we are for two-state solution. One would be called Israel and the other would be called the state of the settlers. Palestinians are ignored, marginalized.
Still.
I think that the ideal situation is radically impossible, which is one state of all of Palestine. That would be all united. Occupied territories, Gaza, will be one state with Israel. Call it Israel, Israel-Palestine, find a new name, but one state. But that stipulates that this state, in order to be viable, has to be like in the United States, secular and democratic.
Right.
Two qualities.
Right.
So that every Jew can worship wherever he wants, live wherever he wants in that state. Palestinian, the same thing, and they will all abide to the same constitution. If that were possible, it would be the ideal solution.
Is anyone promoting that?
Well, there was one of good memory, Joseph Abilea,
Yeah.
who spoke about that, and he died. No one believes, and neither do I, that this is a choice or a possibility.
So could the Palestinians who live in Israel now have a better way of life? Is there a future for that?
You mean in the one state?
Yes. Oh, no, it's even today.
Yeah. Well, in fact, on one side, I'm going to say something very risky, but it's true.
Okay.
On one side, we are more free. We have more freedom almost on all levels, not more as any Palestinian in the refugees camps in the Arab state, but more than any Arab in any Arab state.
A Christian
Arab
Palestinian?
Christians, yes.
Yes.
But that does not satisfy us, because there they have no freedom whatsoever.
Right.
You cannot compare one good thing with one bad thing. You have to compare one good thing with an equal thing. We have to compare ourselves with the Jews in Israel.
Okay.
And that's still lacking so much to do in order to become real citizens and full citizens. I mean, first-class citizens, as the Jews are all first-class citizens. We are sometimes second, third, fourth, or no-class citizen according to the needs of the government that's in place.
So the goal would be to be a first-class citizen in Israel, regardless of your race.
Let me put it another way.
Yes.
The goal is to be an equal citizen to every Jew in Israel.
Okay. What would that look like? What would be different today for you, for instance?
Well, first, my passport will no more be numbered 02. My identity card will no more be numbered 02.
What does an Israeli's card look like?
01.
01.
Yeah. And my driving license would no more be renewable only on the 15th of the month, but in all the days of the month, like for the Jews. The policy of land confiscation would change.
Right.
The subsidies given to our schools would drastically change.
Right.
Will be equal to our Jewish friends who are living in our neighborhood on our previously confiscated land.
Can you move anywhere you want, Archbishop?
Anywhere I want? No, I want to move everywhere in the world.
Right.
But I can move all around Israel like every Jew can move. I have freedom of movement, yeah.
But they will not allow you to move back to Baram, would they?
No, they will not.
No.
Despite the fact that we went 3 times to Supreme Court of Justice, we won the case. The resolution was in our favor. But Israel, as Perez told me, does not have any leader who has the guts and the courage to say justice comes before emotions. These people have the decisions of the Supreme Court of Justice. They have to return.
Now, this city of Baram is not occupied even by Israel, a Jewish.
No,
so,
no.
What would be the consequence for a national leader in Israel to say we're going to allow them to return? What would be the problem?
I think the consequence would be that he would give a much better image of Israel.
Right.
Reconstructing justice where justice has to be reconstructed. He will not need to have one more soldier to protect the security, and that's what the defense minister, who was very fanatical defense minister of Israel, Arens, said. If we give these people to return home, we'll not need one more soldier to protect us.
So is it a political hot potato that they will not allow it? Does it look like they're going back? Does it look like they're soft?
It's not a political, it's not hot, and it's not a potato. It's, I think, a kind of obedience to the Zionist ideology. What belongs to Arabs in Palestine should belong to Jews. And once the Jews put their hand on something, they should never give it back, no matter what the reasons are. And that's very close to racism.
Yes, it is. Yeah. Have you considered, and have others considered, just moving back and rebuilding?
Yes, ma'am.
Is it too risky?
It's more than risky. It's putting your life at stake, yeah. In 1970, we decided to move back for the second time after 1951.
Yes.
When we first tried to move back from the nearby village, when we arrived nearby the village, airplanes came from I don't know where and started raining bombs on the houses. They destroyed all the houses.
Okay.
And in the 70s, we decided to make a strike, sit and strike in the village for 6 months. Nobody did anything. Only the army came, surrounded us. We were not allowed to move. I was very privileged to take part of the hunger strike for 4 days. That was difficult.
Yes.
Inside, in front of the Knesset in Jerusalem.
Right.
But nobody bothers for us. We're not Jews, and the international opinion does not take care for what Palestinians want. And we were born Palestinians. We're proud to be Palestinians, but our voice is not easily heard by others in the West.
So what would you like the West to know that you think we misunderstand?
First of all, I want something very simple. I want the West to continue being sure that the Jews are not dirty. I want the West to continue believing that the Jews were not dirty during Second World War.
Yes.
But the dirt was the Third Reich's ideology.
That's correct.
It was too late after the horrors committed against the Jews. And now I want the Western world to believe that we are not a nation of terrorists. We are a terrorized nation, the Palestinians. We have endured everything. We paid everything. We lost land, authority, dignity, everything to quiet down the bad conscience of the Western world towards the Jews. We're not dirty.
No,
we're not terrorists. We have some people who believe that the solution would be the same way that was used to kick us out, violence and terror. But that's not the nation.
Who can speak for Palestine today? Who can speak for the Palestinians today?
Well, there is a Palestinian Authority.
Yes. Do you think that they speak for the Palestinians?
They do speak. It's not important to speak.
Okay.
The importance is how to speak and what to say, to whom. And I must confess, for over 40 years, we never learned the language that convinces the Western world to consider our case as something to respect.
To champion.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you say you do not have to hate a Jew to love a Palestinian.
Absolutely.
And that message seems to be the kind of message that would be attractive for a solution.
You know, I was scandalized when in the early 70s I read a book wrote by a Palestinian I know very well. The book starts with curse and ends with cursing the Jews.
Right.
And for me, this was the best propaganda for the Jews against the Palestinians. That's why I wrote my blood brothers,
Yes.
saying to the Jews, come on, listen, I love you, I don't hate you, I hate everything you do to us. Let us stop this machine of destruction.
Yes.
Yeah? I can speak day and night about the Palestinian plight without insulting any Jew. Why should I insult?
Right.
And be corrupt like those who has insulted me and kicked me out from my home.
Do you think that there's a misconception of Old Testament reading peoples that the Jews have a right to the land because that's what the Bible said in the Old Testament?
Yes, the Jews believe in that. Many of them do believe in that, although most of them are secular. They don't believe in any religious life, yeah. But that is not the argument, because in front of them you have the Muslims, Islam, who believe that a land that was once Muslim has to remain Muslim in the name of Almighty God, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Yeah? Mm-hmm. And a Muslim, a good Muslim, should be ready to offer his own life to protect the Muslim land and to protect his wife.
Do you think that if there was a Palestinian state that was primarily Muslim, that the Christians would be able to survive as well?
Not only I do believe. We are living with Islam since the inception of Islam. It was always not only possible, It was great. We had some waves of misunderstandings, even of persecutions, but never systematic. Islam calls for tolerance in a very radical way when Islam is relaxed and not threatened. Today, Islam has been hijacked for political reasons. And that's why they use what is extremist in Islam, what is bad, and they cover it with the word, this is Islam, and they commit suicide, they kill each other, but that's foreign to Islam.
Is it possible when both groups, both Jews and Arabs, believe that the land is theirs, given by God? How then do we get past that?
They should stop believing that the land is theirs. They start being realistic and believe that the land belongs to God, and they have to belong to the land, not to make the land belong to them.
That's the solution.
Yeah, absolutely.
My guest today has been Archbishop Elias Chacour of the Melkite Greek Catholic Church in Galilee and founder of the Mar Elias Educational Institutions in Israel. I'm Shirley Hoogstra, and thank you for watching Inner Compass.